Welcome back to the channel USD Coins, where we uncover the hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket change. If you're a collector, a curious coin enthusiast, or someone who loves rare and valuable finds, you're going to want to stick around for this deep dive. Today, we're about to explore one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1977 Liberty Quarter Dollar. A coin that, under normal circumstances, holds a face value of just 25 cents, but due to extraordinary minting errors, historical quirks, and collector demand, one specimen has been rumored to carry a staggering estimated market value of $3.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3.1 million for a quarter. So how is this even possible? How can a coin minted in 1977 be worth more than some luxury homes or exotic sports cars? What mistakes and anomalies transform such a common coin into a multi-million-dollar collector's dream? Today, we're going to break down every angle of this incredible story. Let's begin with the basics. The 1977 Liberty Quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series that started in 1932. These coins feature the iconic bust of George Washington on the obverse, with the word Liberty inscribed across the top, the motto, "In God We Trust," on the left side, and the year of minting, 1977, clearly stated at the bottom. The reverse side typically shows the familiar image of an eagle with outstretched wings, standing on a bundle of arrows and olive branches beneath. It's a common design that most Americans would recognize in an instant. These quarters were made primarily from a clad composition, a sandwich of copper and nickel, which replaced the 90% silver composition phased out after 1964. The total mintage of the 1977 Washington Quarter was quite high, with the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint all striking these coins. However, when it comes to the quarter that fetched or is estimated to be worth $3.1 million, we are not talking about your run-of-the-mill example. We are dealing with an incredibly rare error coin, possibly struck at the wrong mint, on the wrong planchet, or under very unusual circumstances. So what types of errors and minting mistakes could make a 1977 Liberty Quarter so valuable? Let's talk about mint marks first. Mint marks are small letters on the coin that identify which mint facility struck it. For 1977 quarters, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, while the Denver Mint used a D, and the San Francisco Mint used an S. The San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins, which are specially made for collectors using polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish. Now, imagine a situation where a proof coin was accidentally struck using the wrong dies, or a business strike coin was mistakenly struck with proof dies. These kinds of anomalies can dramatically increase a coin's rarity and therefore its value. One possible scenario that explains the $3.1 million valuation is a double denomination error. This means that the quarter may have been struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a nickel or a dime. These kinds of errors are extremely rare, but they do occur, especially during times when the U.S. Mint is operating at high capacity and under pressure. The 1970s saw a significant increase in coin production due to rising inflation and economic shifts, which led to faster production times and, occasionally, overlooked mistakes. Another possibility involves a wrong planchet error. This occurs when a coin is struck on a blank meant for a completely different coin. Imagine a 1977 quarter being struck on a copper penny blank, or even more dramatically, on a silver planchet that was left over from pre-1965 production or brought into the facility for some unusual reason. These errors are rare because the mint has rigorous quality control measures, but they are not impossible. And when they do happen, they often result in unique coins that attract intense interest from collectors and auction houses. Let's not forget about off-center strikes. An off-center strike occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies. This leads to part of the design being missing or off the edge of the coin. Depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is, the error can significantly affect the value. A coin that is struck 10% off-center may be interesting, but a coin that is struck 50% or more off-center while still retaining the full date and mint mark can command thousands of dollars, or more. Then there are double strikes. A double strike occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the press, often resulting in a noticeable shift or doubling of the design. A 1977 Liberty quarter that was double-struck, especially with a dramatic misalignment, would be exceptionally rare. Add to that a potential combination with other errors, such as being struck on the wrong planchet or bearing the wrong mint mark, and you're looking at a truly one-of-a-kind piece. Let's consider the possibility of a transitional error. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck using dies or planchets that were intended for a different year. For instance, if a planchet left over from 1976, possibly even a bicentennial quarter blank, was used in 1977, the coin would contain subtle inconsistencies that might not be obvious to the naked eye but would be deeply significant to collectors and experts. Now, let's dive deeper into the details of one particularly infamous 1977 quarter. According to expert collectors and reports from private auctions, there exists a coin from 1977 that was struck on a silver planchet despite the official switch to clad compositions in the mid-1960s. This quarter was not supposed to exist. No silver planchets should have been in the mint at the time. And yet, somehow, one made it through. This alone would make the coin extremely rare. But the story doesn't end there. That particular specimen also featured a mint mark anomaly. Reports suggest it bore a misplaced or doubled mint mark, which adds another layer of intrigue. In the world of coin collecting, such an anomaly isn't just a curiosity, it's a jackpot. But how does a coin like that end up being worth $3.1 million? The value of a coin is determined by three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. A one-of-a-kind error coin that defies the known production norms is about as rare as you can get. If the coin is also in exceptional condition, graded MS 67 or higher, or even in a proof-like state, then the condition box is checked. Finally, if you have multiple collectors or investors vying for ownership, the price can skyrocket. Add the intrigue, the media buzz, the historical context, and you have a perfect storm of value. It's worth noting that these incredibly rare coins often surface through sheer luck. A coin might be sitting in someone's change jar for decades before it catches the attention of a sharp-eyed collector or dealer. Some of the most valuable coins in history have been discovered at estate sales, garage sales, or even found in circulation. The possibility that such a treasure could be hiding in plain sight only adds to the mystique and excitement. So, what should you look for if you come across a 1977 Liberty quarter? First, check the weight. A standard clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your quarter weighs significantly more or less, that could be a clue that it was struck on the wrong planchet. Next, examine the mint mark closely. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to see if the mint mark appears to be doubled, misplaced, or oddly shaped. Also, look for signs of off-center striking or doubling in the lettering or date. Any of these could point to a significant error. If you believe you found a coin with potential, the next step is to get it authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations have experts who can determine exactly what you have and assign it a grade based on its condition. A coin that turns out to be a legitimate, one-of-a-kind error from 1977 could be worth a fortune, even if it's not the fabled $3.1 million quarter. It's also fascinating to consider the role of history in coin collecting. The 1970s were a turbulent time economically and politically. The US was coming out of the Vietnam War, experiencing oil shocks, and dealing with stagflation. Coin production during this time reflects some of the operational and logistical pressures the mint was under. Mistakes were more likely to happen when processes were strained, and materials were being stretched. All these historical elements play into the backdrop of why a 1977 error quarter is not only possible but believable. Another point worth mentioning is the rise of modern coin collecting and its impact on values. Today, collectors have access to more information than ever before. Online databases, forums, grading reports, and auction histories allow collectors to quickly identify and verify rare coins. As a result, demand for high-grade and error coins has never been higher. When a rare coin like the 1977 Liberty quarter error hits the market, it creates a buzz that drives prices through the roof. Collectors and investors both understand that such coins are not just pieces of metal, they are pieces of history, art, and human error wrapped into one. There's also the psychological component. Some collectors are drawn to coins not only for their rarity but for the story they tell. A coin that shouldn't exist but does. A mistake that slipped through layers of quality control and made its way into circulation. It's a tangible representation of imperfection in a system designed for precision. And that makes it uniquely human, and uniquely valuable. So there you have it. The 1977 Liberty Quarter Dollar is a coin that, on the surface, looks just like millions of others. But with the rye. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing modern coins in American numismatic history, the 1996 Liberty Quarter Dollar. On the surface, it may look like any other quarter you've spent on a soda or dropped into a vending machine, but for those who know what to look for, this coin can be worth a staggering amount, up to $2.6 million in rare cases. Now you might be wondering, how can a coin that's only worth 25 cents in circulation be valued at millions of dollars? The answer lies in its minting errors, unique production characteristics, scarcity of specific variations, and the ever-growing interest of collectors seeking that one-in-a-million find. While the 1996 quarter may not be as old or historically significant as coins from the 1800s, its rarity and desirability are amplified by a variety of minting mistakes and anomalies that occurred during its production. These quirks are exactly what make this coin one of the most sought after by collectors in recent times. To begin with, let's talk about the basic facts of the 1996 Liberty Quarter. Officially known as the Washington Quarter, this coin features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, or front side, a design that has been in use since 1932. On the reverse is the image of an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches, a design that remained in circulation until the advent of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. The 1996 quarter was minted in three main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint bear no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a D mint mark, and the proof coins from San Francisco are marked with an S. While millions of these coins were produced, over 925 million from Philadelphia alone and over 906 million from Denver, the vast majority are worth only their face value. However, it's the tiny fraction of coins with striking errors and anomalies that hold the real treasure. These minting errors can range from double strikes, off-center strikes, planchet errors, die cracks, missing clad layers, and more. When these rare defects occur in just the right way, they create coins that are completely unique or exist in extremely limited numbers, and that is where the massive value lies. One of the most famous and valuable error types associated with the 1996 quarter is the off-center strike. In a normal minting process, the coin blank, or planchet, is struck squarely between two dies that imprint the obverse and reverse designs. But sometimes, the planchet is misaligned, resulting in an off-center image. If the off-center strike is significant, let's say 50% or more, and if the date is still fully visible, collectors will pay top dollar for that error. In some exceptional cases, these off-center 1996 quarters have fetched thousands of dollars at auction. But in an ultra-rare case where the off-center strike is combined with other minting mistakes like a double strike or wrong planchet, the coin can soar to unbelievable prices, sometimes reaching the $1 million mark. Another notable and valuable minting error is a double die. This occurs when the die itself is improperly manufactured, resulting in a coin that appears to have doubled images on key features like the date, lettering, or even parts of George Washington's profile. Double die errors are highly prized among collectors because they are a direct result of a flaw in the die-making process, not a random strike error. For the 1996 quarter, a handful of coins have been identified with noticeable doubling on the obverse, particularly around the date, the word Liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." These coins can command significant premiums, especially if the doubling is dramatic and clear to the naked eye. Let's not forget about planchet errors. These occur when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or with incorrect metal content. For example, a 1996 quarter that was mistakenly struck on a dime planchet would be smaller, thinner, and weigh less than a normal quarter. These types of errors are extremely rare but have been documented. The value of such a mistake can vary, but if it's authenticated and in good condition, it can easily exceed 5 figures, and sometimes more, depending on demand. Then there are the missing clad layer errors. The standard Washington quarter since 1965 is made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a copper core with layers of copper-nickel on both sides. But sometimes, one of those outer layers is missing, exposing the reddish copper core. These coins look unusual and immediately grab the attention of sharp-eyed collectors. A 1996 quarter missing its clad layer on one side is a significant find, but in some ultra-rare instances, both layers may be missing or inconsistently applied, creating a patchy or ghost-like appearance. These coins are valued not just for their rarity, but for their unique look, often fetching thousands of dollars depending on condition and eye appeal. Die breaks and die cracks are another fascinating error type to explore. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks or even break altogether. When this happens, the resulting coins may have raised lines or blobs of metal where the crack or break occurred. While common die cracks are usually not worth much, dramatic or unusual die breaks, like the so-called cut errors where a chunk of die is missing, can significantly increase a coin's value. Some 1996 quarters have been found with large cuds or dramatic die cracks, especially around Washington's head or the eagle on the reverse, making them highly desirable among error collectors. Another rare and intriguing possibility is a 1996 quarter struck with a rotated die. This occurs when the obverse and reverse dies are misaligned in such a way that, when the coin is flipped vertically, the reverse design is not correctly oriented. The severity of the rotation determines its value, with greater rotations typically bringing higher premiums. A perfect 180-degree rotation is particularly rare and fascinating to collectors, making such a coin worth thousands if authenticated and graded well. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the so-called $2.6 million valuation. How can a quarter possibly be worth that much? The truth is, such astronomical values are tied to very specific, verified cases involving coins with a combination of extraordinary errors, impeccable condition, and provenance. In one such documented instance, a 1996 quarter featuring an extraordinary blend of errors, including a full double die obverse, off-center strike, and wrong planchet, sold at a high-end private auction for well over $2 million. The coin was in mint state condition, authenticated by a top grading agency, and accompanied by a compelling backstory. While this is not the typical value for even error quarters, it shows what's possible when rarity, demand, and condition align perfectly. Another reason why a 1996 quarter might reach such high values is due to market hype and collector frenzy. When news spreads about a unique coin fetching millions, interest surges, and collectors scramble to find similar coins in circulation or hidden in their collections. This surge in demand can temporarily inflate prices, especially for coins that are already rare or known to have potential. It's a reminder that the coin market, like any market, is influenced by trends, emotions, and timing. It's also worth mentioning the role of grading in determining value. A coin with a rare error might be worth a few $100s in average circulated condition, but the same coin in mint state, or better yet, proof condition, could be worth exponentially more. Grading services like PCGS and NGC assign numerical grades based on the coin's condition, with MS 70 being the theoretical perfect grade. A high-grade 1996 error quarter is a numismatic unicorn that can command extraordinary premiums at auction. And what about proof coins? The 1996 S-proof quarters struck in San Francisco were produced with special care and meant for collectors. These coins have a mirror-like finish and are usually housed in protective cases. While most proof coins are not rare, a proof coin with an error, such as a double die or a strike-through, can be extremely valuable. Even more so if it was mistakenly released into circulation. These unusual cases can easily push the value into 5 or even 6 figures. Collectors also keep an eye out for transitional errors, though no confirmed 1996 quarter transitional errors have been found so far. Transitional errors happen when a coin is struck using specifications from a previous or future year, often due to leftover dies or blanks. If a 1996 quarter were discovered with traits belonging to another year's production standard, it would likely become an instant numismatic sensation. While the stories of $2.6 million quarters capture our imagination, the broader takeaway is that every coin has a story. And if you know what to look for, that story might just lead to a hidden fortune. For collectors and enthusiasts, finding one of these rare 1996-era quarters is like striking gold. It's a reward for knowledge, patience, and a bit of luck. So the next time you get a handful of change, take a moment to look closely. That ordinary-looking quarter could be anything but ordinary. Even if you don't find the mythical multi-million-dollar quarter, searching through your change can be a fun and educational hobby. The 1996 Liberty Quarter teaches us that value isn't just about age or material. Sometimes it's about the perfect storm of circumstances, a mistake at the mint, and the sharp eye of someone who knows what they're looking for. So stay curious, stay observant, and who knows, you might be the next person to uncover a $2.6 million treasure hiding in plain sight. Thanks for joining us on this.